Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're listening to the podcast, I am Rachel Lang, and today I'm very excited because I am starting a new series just for you. We are going to cover some of the basics of astrology for those of you who are wanting to learn more. Maybe you're just getting into it, or maybe you have heard things from other teachers and you're trying to put it all together. These are going to be more bite-sized videos and podcasts that feature specific topics in astrology, like your Astro 101, if you will. And I decided to start with the rising sign. So today we are going to start with an overview of what the rising sign is, and then we will get into each rising sign one at a time. So you'll have to come back and check for your rising sign because I am recording them one at a time. So today we're just going to start with laying some groundwork for you. In astrology, the sun is your core vitality. It is how your ego expresses itself in the world. And it's also connected to spirit, which is the part of our spiritual selves that relates to what we came here to do and to accomplish. So it's the outer expression of our spiritual self in the world. The moon is more of the emotional nature of ourselves. So it represents the soul, which is the part of us that holds on to memories, that holds on to pain, that is here to go through healing processes. The moon is also connected to our emotional nature and our subconscious selves. So it's the nonverbal, pre-verbal parts of us. And the ascendant is like your front door. It's your physical body. It's the way in which you hold the soul, moon, spirit, sun, and integrate them in a physical form. It's like your soul's house. It's what contains the spiritual makeup of who you are. It's also the point of incarnation. It's the moment that you are born. If you were to look outside of your birth center, your hospital, your room, you would look on the eastern horizon and you would see this sign, and all of this influence is here to greet you. So it's that point where your spirit and soul meet the physical earth plane. The ascendant often represents aspects of our birth, how we come into the world. Do we come into the world gracefully? Do we come into the world with challenges? Are we coming out with our fists up, fighting to break through? And the ascendant can tell us a lot about that experience. It's the general impression that you make on the world. And not because it's your facade or it's the part of you that other people see first, which it often is, but let me break that down for you a little bit because I think this gets lost in translation. Let's take it back to the horizon line. What is the horizon? The horizon is the point at which heaven meets earth, from our vantage point anyway. Obviously, we know that there's a lot more to it than that, but it's like an inception point. It's a point that relates to our entire worldview, how we see that coming together of spirit, heaven, and earth. And so your rising sign is your personal horizon line. It's how you experience the world. It's your worldview. It's the viewpoint that frames everything else in your life. It's your first breath. It's the energy that's greeting you when you first come into the world. The rising sign is the zodiac sign on the eastern horizon, but that sign changes every 2 hours, approximately, depending on your latitude and longitude. And so having your accurate birth time gives you an accurate portrayal of what your rising sign is. And there are ways to rectify the chart in case you don't have your birth time or if you have an approximate birth time. The rising sign colors are personality, our physical appearance, your approach to life, and even the circumstances of your early childhood. And it's often the part of you that people noticed first. Sometimes it's kind of like your mask or your protective covering, a way of navigating the world's demands and creating a sense of separation between the outer world and your own physical self. And so in that respect, It can be like our wall of defense or our boundaries of protection, or it can also indicate ways in which we are wide open and don't have much of a strong filter or a strong shell, and maybe feel a little bit vulnerable. If you think about birth and you think about incarnation, that point is all about survival. It is about being here in this world. And so your rising sign relates to your survival instincts. It relates to what do you need to feel safe and secure in the world? What do you need to survive? For some of us, life didn't feel too safe. And so our rising sign defines how we protected ourselves from some of those early experiences of trauma, or from just that feeling of being like this little child, an innocent, pure little child who is trying to make their way into the world. The rising sign shows how we established our lines of defense. Your rising sign is connected to your physical body, your shape, your metabolism, your appearance, how you carry yourself through the world, and some of the characteristics and traits that others observe about you and notice about you. Now, here's the thing about the ascendant. We grow into the ascendant over the course of our lives. So while it does represent a very big part of our personalities, because the ascendant is our interface with the world, and we are intersubjective, interrelational humans, the way that we experience ourselves shifts and changes as we interface with the world. And so over the course of our lives, we become more and more an expression of our rising signs. And we start identifying more with that aspect of ourselves, because that's what the world is telling us that we are, and how we are experiencing ourselves in the world. Rising signs have similar traits, and I'm going to show you in this series images of people with the same rising sign, and you're going to see that there's a vibe, there's a sense about them that is the same, and even some physical characteristics that mirror each other from one ascendant to another. The four elements play a key role in these personality traits and physical characteristics, but also the governing planet, the planet that's associated with the sign on the ascendant. That is like your go-to planet, and it tells you a lot about your physical appearance. Now, I'm going to show you a few slides just so that you can see what I'm talking about. Now, all of these folks have an Aries rising. And so just see what kinds of similarities you can detect. You might just feel it. There's something about them that's similar. Now, these are all Taurus risings. These are all Gemini risings. These people all have Cancer rising. These celebs all have Leo rising. Here are some examples of Virgo rising, our Libra rising, Scorpio rising, Sagittarius, Capricorn rising, Aquarius rising, and Pisces rising. So if you go on my TikTok or my Instagram, you're going to see people posting in the comments on almost every post, "You look just like Tina Fey," or "I thought you were Tina Fey." So I have a Taurus rising, and my rising sign is 28 degrees Taurus. I also have a Libra sun, and I have my Venus in Scorpio. So Venus is my governing planet. It's in Scorpio. My rising's at 28 Taurus. Tina Fey has a Leo rising, and that means the sun, which is the governing influence, the luminary that rules Leo, is a big indicator of her appearance. Her sun is at 27 Taurus, and her moon is pretty close to my sun in Libra. And there are other similarities too, but that just shows you that the planet that governs your rising sign is an important player in your overall look and appearance. Your rising sign shows you how you use your energy. And I'm going to break it down now in terms of the four elements. Each element has its own mannerisms, physical characteristics, its own qualities. It's kind of like the overall aura that greets you as you walk into the world. Fire sign risings, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, radiate energy and presence, and they might even have a warm tint to their skin or even like a reddish coloring. They have expressive eyes. They are the rising signs that need physical movement. And this is why they can be more athletic, or they can get restless if they don't express their energy outwardly in a way that is action oriented. They often appear confident. They're kind of like the motivational speakers, the coaches. They're people who make you feel good because that fire energy is infectious. It is contagious. Enthusiasm is one of their primary gifts, even when they're not feeling it or when they're having a rough day. Their movements can seem purposeful, decisive, and directed. They might have a tendency to blush or have a natural glow in their skin. And you can feel the warmth when they walk into a room. Earth sign risings, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, have a grounded, steady presence. They can seem like they are calm and relaxed even when everything is really stressful on the inside. Their features may be well defined, their body may be solid, sturdy, and they also might move more slowly and more deliberately. They just give the impression of being stable, reliable, and present, solid. Their coloring may be more earthy, more muted, and Taurus risings can have somewhat of an olive coloring. That's because of the influence of Venus. They have a sense of being calm, and you can feel like when you're with them, like you're with a rock, with someone who is someone that you can lean on for support. They might have a really good bone structure, might have good hair. Taurus risings tend to have a wave in their hair. Their hair might be noticeable, and especially those Taurus risings, because they can have a little bit of a wave to it. There's a sense of natural beauty about them. Sometimes, though, earth sign risings can seem unmovable or a little bit more stubborn, but we'll get into that as we get into each rising sign individually. Air sign risings, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, have quick, alert movements. They have a youthful, lively quality, and their bodies might be more of Vata body shape and body composition. If you're thinking about this in Ayurvedic terms, they can be lean, they can be wiry, always in motion, even when they're standing still. Their features can be fine, they can be delicate. They might have whimsical looking eyes that are curious, that are looking for more information, and they might have a real need to talk things out. Often, air sign risings have expressive hands, animated facial features. They might have prominent veins or a need for hydration. They can have a dryness to their skin. Air sign risings are the kind of people who want to express themselves out into the world. They want to know things. And so their first interface with the world is going to be about communication, about forming relationships and making connections. Water sign risings, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, have a fluid and adaptable energy. Their eyes are often really striking and they draw people in. Water sign risings carry themselves with a fluidity. There's an adaptability about that. They greet the world in a way that's almost like dancing with it. And their bodies might be more soft, might be more rounded. They might have more of a graceful presence in the world. There can be somewhat of a chameleon-like presence with them, where they can easily change their mood or their interface with the world has a sensitivity that requires them to feel like they want to protect themselves. Their bodies might be softer, rounder. There's a sensitivity about them that when they interface with the world, there's a need to protect themselves or to maybe not feel protected and feel like my boundaries are all over the place. So our water sign risings are going to find ways to create structures of protection for themselves, even if they never feel completely and totally protected in this world. And so, all of you with water rising signs, you're negotiating that give and take. How much do I give my energy? How much do I protect my energy? Ultimately, that gives you the sense that you're dancing this really rich, vibrant dance, interplaying with the energies that you come in contact with, being sensitive to them, not shutting yourself down, but also not availing yourself for anything that is a waste of your energy or a waste of time. You might actually have sensitivities like skin sensitivities, allergies, things that require you to be more aware and hypervigilant of your interface with the outside world. People gravitate toward water sign risings for comfort, for nurturing, or for tell me the truth, especially those Scorpio risings. Like, you know something that I don't know. There's an intuitive and almost like a psychic quality that people with water sign risings have. Because your rising sign is linked to the moment when you enter this world, it also tells us a lot about those coping mechanisms and protective mechanisms that you developed early on in life. And so it tells us how you adapted to your early childhood experience. Did you feel like you had to become bold and assertive right away? Did you learn to charm or mediate challenges with your early caregivers or your family? Did you become really reserved and cautious? These are patterns that are associated with your ascendant and your ascendant governing planet. And sometimes it can help explain why people perceive you differently than you see yourself, because that ascendant is the interface. And then once people get to know you, they get your sun sign, they get your moon sign, they get all the other planets. But that ascendant is your first line of introduction. It also shows the path that you take to take the world head on. It shows your strategies, your strengths, sometimes the blind spots that you bring into your life and into your encounters. Each rising sign has its challenges and has its gifts. So this is a starting point for you to better understand yourself. Because when you understand how the world experiences you and how you move into the world and move through the world and express your energy in the world, then you can evolve into the version of that rising sign that most appeals to you. Now you have an overview of what the rising sign means, and hopefully today's conversation helped to clarify a couple of questions that you have about your chart, like why don't I completely relate to my sun sign, or why when I read about my rising sign does it not feel like me? There's so much more that we are going to explore together when we start talking about the individual rising signs. Hopefully now I've got your curiosity piqued and you'll be coming back for more. And maybe you'll also share this with a friend, someone who is also curious about astrology and wanting to learn about themselves the way that you do. Don't forget to like and follow and leave a review. I'll see you next time.